Welcome back. In today's explainer, we're taking a foundational concept and completely decoding it. We're looking at something you probably dismissed back in school as just another boring static grammar rule, the verb to be. But actually, scratch that. We're going to reframe this completely. Instead of a list of words you have to memorize, I want you to think of this as the ultimate tool for time travel and personal transformation. It's literally the architectural framework we use to describe who we were and who we've become. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. What we have here is basically the complete map of our grammar journey today. Notice how brilliantly the information is organized. We've got this distinct, warm orange zone representing the past tense and a crisp green zone representing the present tense. Literally everything we cover today is going to navigate between these two distinct blocks of time, moving from what was to what is.
Here is our path for today. First, we'll define the state of being. Then, look at singular subjects in time, followed by the plural perspective. After that, we'll ground things with anchoring with time words, and finally, bring it all together in stories of transformation.
Section 1. The state of being. Exploring affirmative sentences.
So if we really want to understand transformation, we have to clearly define our baseline first, right? Affirmative sentences are simply positive statements of fact. We're expressing how things definitely are or how they definitely were. We're not asking questions today, and we're not making negative statements. We are strictly dealing with positive declarations of reality and changing circumstances. You see, when you're building the story of yourself, you got to start with the facts.
Section 2. Singular subjects in time, focusing on I, he, she, and it.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between past difficulties and present successes. In our orange past tense, we see these expressions of struggle, like I was sad or he was poor. But as we shift across time to the green present tense, the state of being transforms completely. I am happy, he is rich. Think about how powerful that is. The grammar is just the vehicle carrying us from a negative past state to a highly positive present state. You aren't just changing a verb, you're changing the entire reality of the subject.
If we break down the logic of this grammar matrix for singular subjects, a really interesting pattern pops up. In the past tense, a single individual's state of being is entirely unified. I, he, she, and it all share the exact same past tense word, was. But look at what happens when we move to the present tense. The rules split. The individual I claims its own unique verb, am, while he, she, and it group together under the word is. It's almost like the mechanics of the language isolate our personal internal experience from the external experience of others in the present moment.
Let's look at the actual micro-narratives to see this evolution in action. We already saw the emotional shift from sad to happy, and the financial shift from poor to rich. But look at she. In the past, she was a student. Now, she is a nurse. That is years of chronological evolution, dedicated education, and hard work captured perfectly in just two tiny verbs. And finally, it was difficult transforms into it is easy. Whatever challenge was being faced has been completely conquered.
Moving right along to Section 3, the plural perspective. We, you, and they.
So shifting from individuals to groups, you'll immediately notice a phonetic shift. We leave the singular was behind entirely. For groups, the past tense shifts to were, as in we were late, and the present tense shifts to are, as in we are early. It's a subtle change when you say it, but a massive change in context. And again, notice that transformation from a negative circumstance, being late, to a positive one, arriving early.
Compared to the singular subjects, I love how wonderfully clean and minimalist this rule set is. Whether you're talking about yourselves with we, speaking directly to a group with you, or observing others with they, the verbs are entirely uniform. It is always were in the past and always are in the present. It simplifies the plural rules so perfectly, which lets you focus entirely on the meaning of your sentence and the story you're trying to tell, rather than tripping over some complex verb conjugation. And when we look at the specific group narratives, we see that clear progression. We shifting from late to early, and you shifting locations from being at home to being at school. But I've got to say, my personal favorite is the final one. They were noisy, turning into they are quiet. I think we can all agree that particular state of being transformation is one that absolutely every teacher and parent on earth loves to hear.
Section 4. Anchoring with time words. Answering the all-important question, when did it happen?
Because the truth is, verbs need context, right? Otherwise, they just float aimlessly in space. We're given a specific set of past tense time markers. And if we trace them, we can actually create this really cool chronological zoom in. We start out wide in the distant past with last year. Then we zoom in closer to last month, closer still to last week, until we arrive right at the absolute boundary of the present with yesterday. These anchors prove exactly when the past state of being occurred. They're basically the fixed coordinates on our map.
But pivoting to the present tense time markers, the whole feeling changes entirely. Everything here emphasizes absolute immediacy and presence. We aren't talking about vague generalities anymore. We're using powerful, immediate anchors like now, the even more urgent right now, or focusing on the current ongoing state with at the moment. This is exactly where the transformation lands. This is where all the action of our current lives actually happens.
Which brings us to Section 5, Stories of Transformation. Let's bring it all together.
So the crucial point is how we actually build this. Here we find the architectural formula that synthesizes everything we've just learned, and it happens in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, you lay down your past statement anchored with a time word, like, I was sad yesterday. Step 2 is the magic hinge, the word but. But signals to the listener that a meaningful change has occurred. And finally, step 3, the present statement anchored in the present moment. I am happy at the moment. The word but acts as the definitive pivot between who we were and who we are today. Its sentence structure as pure engineering. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we've been talking about. She was a student last year, but she is a nurse now. Just look at how balanced that sentence is. It uses the correct singular past verb was, anchored by last year. It uses the pivot word but. Then it uses the correct singular present verb is, anchored by now. This isn't just syntax, guys. An entire life-changing human journey is captured flawlessly in one single grammatical structure.
Let's reinforce this with the final example, this time applying the plural perspective. They were busy last week, but they are free right now. Notice how the time words act as bookends for the sentence. Last week and right now sit at the absolute edges of the phrase, giving us complete clarity, while the contrast between busy and free tells the emotional story of the subjects right in the middle. It's just incredibly efficient communication.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, the absolute core takeaway I want you to leave with is this. Don't look at grammar paradigms as just rigid rules of right and wrong. These simple matrices of was, were, is, and are actually the foundational building blocks of human storytelling. Grammar is simply the tool we use to accurately describe our personal growth and our ever-changing realities to the people around us. You know, you were one way yesterday, but you are here, learning and focusing, right now. You understand the map. You know how to anchor your past and define your present. So, how will you use the verb to be to tell your next story? Think about it. Keep learning, keep transforming, and I will catch you in the next explainer.